Now that I am officially off of the bus, I can finally answer the question that everybody has been talking about for the past week in Destination X World, at least. Why lie, Ty? Why did I lie about meeting Janae on the bridge? Let's talk about it. So, when I met Janae on the bridge, first impression, did not know who she was. I didn't watch Love Island that summer. I was working as a new hire flight attendant. I was on reserve. If you know what that means, it means that my schedule was crazy and I had like no control over it. And I was busy preparing for the show, just wasn't watching a whole lot of television in general. So my first impression of her, I thought she was a model. I didn't know who she was, but she was just like really pretty, and she just like walked up with all this confidence, and I was like, oh, that's why I was like, hello, hi, like, who are you? I thought she was a model that was just going to be handing me a clue, and that was about it. And then I was informed that she was actually going to be playing, and to me, that was good news. I liked Janae. I wanted to be friends with her, and I wanted to work with her. I wanted to have a secret alliance with Janae. So my entire gameplay in Destination X was about alliances, and not just having alliances, but also playing double agent. So the other castmates weren't aware of my core alliance that I had. I actually had multiple alliances. I had like one in Rome. I had two concurrently when we were in Geneva, and then those merged together, and then you see the four that it created in Paris with me, Ali, Biggie, and Shane. That was my alliance. With Janae coming into the game, I wanted to work with her. I wanted to be allies with her, and I wanted to help her in the game. I knew that coming into a game, especially a game like this, especially Destination X, she was going to have a tough time, okay? Because the game's not straightforward. The whole game is meant to confuse and throw you off. The clues from Jeffrey, the opportunities that we have as cast members to sabotage and misdirect each other, it's a lot. And her coming in by herself, I didn't know about Peter at that time, but her coming in by herself, I knew that she was going to be a target. I did not want her to be a target. One, because I just liked her just from our conversation. I thought she was really nice. And then two, I've watched a lot of these reality TV shows and competition shows, and some of them that have different formats, especially where players can vote out other players. There have been some occurrences where players of color, especially women of color, are like the first to go. They get voted out first, and, the alliances don't want to work with them or things like that. They're kind of seen as expendable. And I didn't want that to be the case, not on Destination X. At that point in the game, I was the only Black woman on the bus, and when I saw another Black woman, I saw a friend. That's the truth. And I wanted to work with her. But in order to pull this off, I had to be strategic about it. My strategy didn't work, but I did have a strategy. And the strategy was for us to pretend like we never met each other, pretend like we had no connection to each other, because I didn't want the optics of that to be received by the bus as, oh, now they're going to team up. That was the optics. I wasn't able to, prevent that from happening kind of no matter what, I think. But that's what I was going in with. Plus, with the way that advantage worked and the rules around it, they don't really explain a whole lot of rules in the edit, but I wasn't allowed to tell the rest of the cast either that I had met Janae. So it was something that I was supposed to keep to myself. And then personally, I wanted to keep to myself because I wanted Janae. She was, like I said, a brand new player. She seemed to be good for the game. She had a lot of energy. She did tell me about some of her travel experience. She had just come from another show. So I know that she's comfortable in these types of spaces and she knows what she's doing. So I wanted to pair up with her. I knew that in pairing up with her, I couldn't just do it by myself because I did have an alliance. So I wanted to kind of like ease her in and warm up my alliance to kind of bring her in as an additional number, because at that point we would have the majority. We would be able to keep the majority. And even though we don't like vote each other out in this style game, again, information is power. That is the name of the game in Destination X. So the more people that you have in your alliance, the more people that you're working with, the more information that they have, that's just always going to put you in a stronger, more elevated position throughout the game. And that's what I wanted. So when she came on the bus, let's just get to that part. When she came on the bus, I didn't know when she would be coming on the bus. I didn't know how she was going to be coming on the bus. Jeffrey did not make it that easy for us. I just knew at some point Janae was going to be there. So because I didn't know when or how she would be coming in, I didn't have much of a plan as to how I was going to about how it was going to go, other than her and I just had discussed acting like we didn't know each other. And we did that. So if you watch very carefully in episode 3, when I'm greeting Janae, I hug her and then I lean in and you see my mouth go like, you see my lips moving like real fast, quick. And she goes, mm-hmm. She responds back very quickly, very subtly, mm-hmm, without even looking at me. That was me leaning in like, okay, hey girl, stick to plan. We don't know each other, For a while, it was working. It really was working. It really was. Until Peter spilled the beans. I was so mad at Peter for that. I was so mad. I didn't know if he was doing it on purpose. I didn't know if Peter and Janae I didn't know what they were told coming into the game, but it threw me for a loop. I was not expecting that at all. Biggest shock to me in the game. Biggest shock. And the whole bus was shocked. You can see in that scene, it was very tense. When you're in that moment, you're in that pressure cooker and you're in a small enclosed environment with, the rest of these people, and they're all of a sudden, spotlight on you. Why didn't you say anything? You knew this? I was like, I saw them, the way they looked at Shane, the way Kim's head just like whipped around. You didn't think to tell anybody. Information is power. Information is power. So Shane and I having extra information that we had sat on for a whole day that the bus didn't know about, that already looks shady. That's already bad, which is why I wanted to keep it to myself and then tell my alliance and pitch her to them so that we could bring her in and protect her. Where in reality, I really wanted Janae to myself. I was offering her, protection within the alliance. But my plan was to just cultivate a one-on-one relationship with her so that even within, the bigger alliance, me and her would be each other's number one. Yeah. I wanted to partner with Janae. I was very close to Allie at that point in the game, but the more that Allie was falling into her relationship with Shane, that was making me nervous. Like, showmances are not good for alliances. It was making me nervous. So when I saw Janae, I saw opportunity. I said, okay, I like her. I get a good vibe. I think she's going to be good here. I want to keep her here. And if Allie and Shane start doing some weird stuff, I'll have my girl Janae. I'll have other people in this game. That was my intent. I feel like I had good intentions, just bad execution. So going to that moment when I think it was Kim and it was Rick. I think Rick was the one who said it was like, well, if Shane met Peter, Ty, did you meet Janae? My heart sank. Just thinking about it, my heart sank. Because at that point, I just froze. I'm like, do I admit it? And that also looks bad. Or do I try to lie and, sorry, Shane, but leave Shane out there to the wolves and he can get, kind of tore up and interrogated as to why he didn't tell anybody. It was a split second decision. You're in the heat of the moment. You're in this pressure cooker. It had been a long day, long day of filming and challenges. And then Rachel had just went home and it broke my heart. I was emotional and it was just all these things going on. And I just was like, nope. It just blurted it out. It just came out of my mouth. Like, stick to the script. Just do what you said you were going to do. You didn't meet Janae. You don't know Janae. You don't know Janae. And that's what I did. Immediately after I said it, I regretted it though. As soon as no came out my mouth, I was like, because now what? Now what? One lie is never one lie. Okay. Now I got to make up more lies to support and back up that lie. And one thing that I learned about myself being on the show, I have been getting this question and I haven't been able to, before that episode came out, I haven't been able to really answer it all the way. But That's what I learned. I learned that I'm a bad liar. I learned that I'm a bad liar. And watching it back, like when I watched that scene back, I was cringing. I'm like, I can't watch it. I don't watch it anymore. I can't watch that scene. Gosh, I can't watch it. It was just so bad. It's like out of all the types of lies, you know, the things that you can lie about or the situations where you can lie in and get away with it, that was the worst one. That was the worst one. So there really wasn't a whole lot of thought process other than, uh-oh, panicking, stick to the plan. You know, that was literally the only thing that went through my mind. And when Rick had asked me that question, Janae was sitting all the way on the opposite side of the bus from me. And I just remember she just looked at me like, what are we about to say? She just looked at me. And I was like, I was really afraid if I admitted it, then they would be even more suspicious. Like, okay, what did they talk about? I didn't want more of that kind of paranoia to keep brewing. I thought by just saying like no and you know we could move on from it. We did not move on from it. They had so many follow-up questions. They kept asking me how I got my clue. I came up with like, and gosh, like I said, I don't even like thinking about this. I came up with another lie about how I got my clue. I said that it was one of like the statute people that were like in the challenge, the ones that was like doing this when I was like, oh, she moved. I thought I was like, oh, you know, it was like one of those people. That's what I said. No, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it was a learning moment for me in the game. I was gaming really hard. I wanted to game really hard with these alliances and being mischievous and misdirecting people. And so far in the game, I was getting away with it. So when it came to Janae and trying to pull off like another double agent thing with her, I thought I could do it. I thought I could pull it off, but I did not. I did not. I kind of feel like I outplayed myself because maybe if I had just admitted to it, me and Shane would have been kind of an equal footing. By me lying and him telling the truth, that lowered my stock so much within the bus and made me an easier target to get out next, which happened. It's all good though. I had so much fun playing Destination X. I'm literally obsessed with it. Probably biased, but it is a good show. It's a really good show. Even more fun to play in. I had the time of my life. I met amazing people. I love my cast. I love every single person on my cast. It's crazy because I went through this experience. I lied to them a lot. I was really mischievous and, you know, it was just doing a lot of kind of shady things. And now we're all friends. Now we're all friends. It literally was just a game and I was playing really hard, a little bit too hard maybe. So yeah, I hope that clears it up. I hope you guys keep watching and just supporting the show. It really is amazing. I'm so glad all of this is out in the open now and I was able to clear it up. Ty is a liar, but only on Destination X, only on the bus.